Okay, first I will go through the vendor module, and after that I will go through the app module.
Apps.
So the changes which I felt is going to happen is vendor list screen definitely. After that, we have a pop-up for edit, means we are editing few things through the main screen itself. So there also it is going to impact. All the tabs are going to be impacted. Uh, Custom field, there is also effect on the custom field because we have different sections. So under those section we are adding custom field. So now the sections are also updated. So custom field is also going to have an impact due to these changes. On dashboard settings, so in dashboard for dashboard setting, we have something uh, we have few things related to dashboard setting. So this one is action needed setting. This one also going to be impacted. This part because few columns are removed from the main page and moved to the detail page. So these fields are related to list screen. So these are also going to be impacted.
In the
And
sense, like Rakesh, are we? I mean, impact. Sorry, these changes means this section also going to change in the sense. Are we allowing it to
yeah,
add anything?
few things will be removed. So we have these many options here. If you see there are too many things, so
Mm-hmm.
few might be removed. Okay, so these changes I am adding in RD, means what all things will be removed, or how it is going to impact the. So this one user defined field, this is going to be impacted. So see here we are showing the. If you see, this is the preview. So these are the section headers. Under these sections, user are adding custom field. So now the sections are also updated. So this is also going to be impacted.
Okay.
Okay, and this will be impact on vendor and also for the application. For both, these are going to be the same impacted areas. Going to the list screen, vendor list screen. Yeah, so this is the updated vendor list screen. So at the header, first change here is we change the vendor to vendor spend, this name. Okay, and in this screen, if you see, user would able to see a higher level information at the top itself. If suppose there is any missing data present for any of these, so this missing data is due to this part. So here, if you see, I checked few things. So if these fields are empty, then we are getting this info. And as you see, it is in orange color. So in the rows also, I added uh, this this color to indicate that there is something missing for this one. What user can do is they can directly download. So when they click on download, only data for these 12 vendors will be downloaded as a CSV, and user can update that and directly they can upload. So it will directly give them those missing vendors data from here itself. Similarly, for if any new vendor is added in last 30 days, so similarly we will have some green things, and for last 30 days data they would able to see. This is the last 12 months spent. This is the how many vendors are inactive based on this one, and these are the active, and this is the total vendors. Filter, default view, and this functionality, these are already covered in the new table design. So it would be same. What so this would be a generic thing for table. All the table action would be generic.
So Rakesh, if they create a custom view, they will be able to save it, right? To
Yeah,
refer it back to them.
they would able to save it. So there, those are separate set of screen which development is already started for that. So what user can do,
Okay.
they suppose they change the order of any of the column, or suppose they add few more columns and remove few columns. After that, directly what they can do, they can directly click on save. Okay, and when they click on save, it will save their view, and in from here it would be a drop down. From the drop down they can select how the views which they have already saved. And suppose they want to see the default view, which is the company view, they can see that also from selecting from the drop down. I will share that Figma with you guys in the engineering channel itself, so you can get
Okay,
all the scenarios which were there.
cool, cool. And from the column perspective, they can add columns they want, right? So,
Yes.
say for example, someone wants to add a department column, for which department these applications belong to.
Yes.
So that can be done, right?
Yeah, that can be done. They can add that column and then they can save it. Other
Hey,
action
Rakesh.
which, yeah, we could.
So on this screen, we did get two customer feedback. So one was customer would like to know which all vendors they are paying, as in contrast to which vendors got added just because the application was confirmed for that vendor. So we need to, like these numbers you are showing above, right? So there we need to show how many vendors are actually paying vendors in this list. That's one thing.
Right.
And the other feedback was customer wants to know which vendors got merged for a particular vendor. So suppose they were having Adobe vendor, they were having different vendor names for Adobe in their QuickBooks account. So if they merge that together here, then how we can indicate that this is a merged vendor, and which all
Right.
vendors got merged with it, because we don't
Correct.
even have a column right now for that. So either we can give a column.
I think, see, that's more of like an external data issue. We can solve it there, I guess. I mean,
No,
that's
here
what our
also
problem.
it would be
Here also
useful
it has to be
to,
displayed. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, here also it should be displayed because merge vendor, when they do the merge, then they should know these are the vendors they came through merge, and if they want to see that list, they should be able to filter it and do the review on it.
So one question, those view which you mentioned means they would able to see the merged vendor, and they would able to see the paid vendors and vendors which are added due to app confirmation. Okay, so these are views based on users, right? Means if it is an admin usage and finance, then only they should able to see, right? General user are not going to see these details, right?
Right, or anyone they assign to, right? If they assign delegate that task, they should be able to see it.
Yeah, so based on role only, right? Not everyone is going to see, okay, this one is a paid one. Means if suppose I am a general user, I don't have access
Yeah,
to
yeah,
financial data.
Rakesh, that is true, and that's a given because general user does not have paid, like what is paid for, what is not paid for. So whatever we have today will continue forward.
Okay, okay, I will add those which we discussed right now. Okay, other actions which can be performed from here is one is inline editor. So when user click on edit, this is the primary action for now. So when they click on edit, this entire row is going to be editable. Other two things what they can do is they can directly open up the messaging part from here. It would be a slider, and one more action that what they can perform is they can directly start a workflow if they want from here itself. So these are all columns which would be the primary, means the default view from the company side on this. So if there is only two options present for a drop down, or suppose it is a radio button, in that scenario I use these two color, positive and negative kind of thing. For other it would be simple primary text or link text if there is some link is present. So for vendor spend screen, these are all the optional columns which are present. So till auto renewal, all would be for company view, which is by default selected, and other columns which you are seeing means vendor, number of application, total spend, renewal, vendor status. These are mandatory columns. User won't be able to remove this column, but they would able to rearrange this if they want. Okay, so inline edit interaction. So user can directly click on the pencil icon and they would able to see this view. So from here itself, they would able to edit the fields which are present here. Means suppose user add one more column here, and in that column also something is editable. Suppose that column is editable. In that scenario, the added column will be in editable mode. Suppose user, if it is a mandatory field and user didn't fill it and try to save it, then it will throw out an error popping out that user need to save the value. Okay, application view. So currently in our system we are showing the number of application through a pop-up, but now what user can do, directly click on, so this entire row is clickable. Either they can click on this accordion, or they can click on the row itself and they would able to open up this view. So here also they would able to see the application detail, and all the columns which are present in application table, those columns are going to be shown up here. And here also user would be able to edit it. They would able to message if they want, or they would able to start a workflow. And if suppose
Right.
they click on any of the applications, so these are links only, it will open up in a new tab, new browser tab.
So, so this is Poonam. One question I have. There was one more feedback. Like for example, associated application. Sometimes the user have hard time understanding what does that mean. So, is there a reference or maybe some hover message that can show what this particular tab means, so they understand how to use the values here?
Means more information why we are showing these application under this vendor.
Correct, correct. Because sometimes they get confused. Like if we have found not found tab, so sometimes the customer struggles with it. What does that mean?
But that is different, right? Means you are talking about this part, I guess.
Right. So it is journal like intuitive to be intuitive enough so they can work through it rather than like for example any of these here.
Yeah, so you're talking about this part, right? Why it is match found, why it is match not found. This one you're talking, right?
No, no, just yeah, no. In any case, in
Actually,
the other cases,
Regina's,
it's
I think Regina's feedback was more about external data stream. Like, yeah, she was having
right,
like a lot
right.
of confusion.
Yeah,
I
Confusion,
this
mean,
one
yeah.
is confusion because see,
yeah,
in this screen, these all are confirmed only. Whatever data we are showing here, these are confirmed only, and these applications are also confirmed against that vendor.
right.
Actually. So I don't think here more info is needed. Yeah, for external
Right,
data, more information might require
yeah,
for this
right.
one.
definitely. I
Yep.
think like yeah, what Regina was like was not having like any problem with the existing vendor columns or anything. I mean, yeah, she was like clear about
So,
that. And only thing what she wants is like more customizable. And if there is she put a filter, she wants there to stay.
Yeah, those things are
right.
taken
Just
care actually. Those are already taken.
okay. Al- Also, the last state. So, if she's working on certain items, or any customer is working on certain item, and they go and attend a different meeting, come back, they should remember the state where they were last, so they can start working from that particular section. Or maybe they merge some vendors, and the screen goes away. Now they have to start again and search for next list. They don't know the last state. That was another
I
feedback we
think,
had.
see, that all like it can be solved, I guess, in external data problem, like that part.
Right. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
vendor table, what is coming, yeah, she was not having issue, but it was more about the columns problem. She was not understanding what exactly that external data part was.
Right.
Okay, yeah, so that's a separate one that external
Sure,
data
sure. Go ahead.
revamping
Go ahead.
during
Yep.
that time we
Right.
can take care of that.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Rakesh,
Hmm.
so here now, if I expand this section, right, so I can see all the columns from the application. So there are
Yes, you
like,
can add actually, and you would
can
able
we
to
can
see.
we show like can we show the selected columns only? There are like 20 plus columns.
Yeah, that also
Wait,
I updated Ashish. A few only we are going to show, not all. After that, user can add and they can see if they want to. For now, it is not 20 in my design.
Okay. So we are just showing the preview, so the selected column
Yes.
will be better. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Prasanna, you were saying something.
no, no. I think it answered the question. So the plus one is for adding columns, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
And what are the additional options available in next to edit? There is three dot, right?
Yeah, so user can suppose you wanted few information and you asked me, okay, what I will do, I will rearrange the columns and I will add few more columns. Okay, so that would be my view. And after that, after saving or after that, what I can do, I can directly share it with you. So it will generate
No,
a
no,
link.
no, not the share. Next to the edit pencil icon, there is three dots.
Okay, so those actually you can start the messaging from here. You can add your quick messages, or you can start a workflow if you want.
Okay.
Messaging means notes.
Yeah,
Correctly.
we are renaming that to messaging. Okay, messaging part. So not much change in messaging. Just I added.
Maybe we should call it quick message.
Uh, Actually, it is not quick message. Means yeah, definitely you are adding a quick message only. But at the end, you can track it as a thread. Actually, you
Yeah, yeah.
can.
But
So
typically, right, like when a user is using more than messaging, because no one says messaging, it should be like an action for them. Action for them is something they can do, which is like quick messages which they can send. And the thread will be there, but quick message or send a quick message will be more like an like start a workflow, right? We don't say workflow. We say
Okay.
start a workflow. Send quick message or quick message. That
Quick
is more
message.
action oriented.
Yeah.
So then it's more like they can take an action here. And all the quick message will have a thread. That's a different story.
okay, so under messaging, under quick messages, there would be two parts. One is messages, another one is attachment. So suppose if there are five, six attachments are there under few messages, so user is not going to scroll it down and see for the attachment. So for that, they can directly click on attachment. And here I provided one drop down. So what actually it is going to do is by default, whatever message you are going to put here, uh, whatever message you are going to put here, if it is selected all, then what happen is you can see that particular message on the vendor messaging tab also, and also in the associated apps tab also. So for example, for now, suppose the vendor is uh, Apple. So I put one message here. So that message is going to be reflected in AWS and AWS2 on both the messaging tab for these two application. That message is going to stick there.
Okay.
And suppose I want to specific with suppose I want one I want to see messages for only this vendor, so I can filter it out. If I select this vendor, then all the messages associated with that user is going to see.
Okay.
So
So
here
yeah, the
yeah,
my
Varun.
comment was going to be this one. Go back to the previous screen. Why would we not? I mean, do we need this part where it says add message and add messaging here, user will be notified, or instead go to the next one? Can we directly start here? We don't
From
even need that previous one. We should directly start here with a bigger text box where they can directly send message or add an attachment.
okay, so every time you are saying this big thing will be there.
Yes, always.
Actually, I why I kept like this is it was taking some real estate because he post cancel too many things, right? It is a big one,
No, no.
big box.
It is required because you're telling them this is a chatbot, and all the chatbots will have a messaging functionality. Here, it doesn't look like a chatbot, and it's an additional one more click before the actual thing shows up.
No, but
Go to
here
the next
also you
one.
are going to click only. Without click, you are not going to start message, right?
No, no, that's what. This looks like a messaging thing. Go to the previous one. This doesn't look like messaging. I don't even know I can send a message here. So it's an unnecessary step here, having this part.
Okay.
We can reduce one click, and it's not that intuitive.
So usually people what they would do is like once you click, that extended thing opens up by itself.
Mhm. Because we are already telling this is messaging, so they already know this is about messaging. So they want to just send a message or add an attachment. We are making them do two steps here.
So
Because
actually the
here,
other thing, yeah, no,
now
the
if they
other
have
thing
to,
that I'm thinking is like, do we need messaging or is it notes? I had put a note, right, Rakesh, on this one.
Yeah, yeah, that Prasanna also shows it. Quick messages. Rename
No,
it
no,
as
should
quick
we call
messages.
it, is it messaging or is it notes? What is it? Because our current version is notes.
No, so
no, I think we
that
should
way it
call
is
it message
message.
because notes has a different meaning where it's like I'm just making a note here for myself or I'm making a note on this one. Whereas messaging, also means I'm also sending a couple of messages to other people. Send quick message would be a better one where it will be tracked as notes and also I can send something.
I have two questions. What is the use case of having a messaging here for an application or a vendor? I understand we have use cases for positioning, depositioning, and all other places like that. But here, what is the use case of messaging? That's first question. Second, across the app, we are talking multiple versions of messaging. Then there is notes, there is messaging, then there is sometimes we come up with chatbot and all other things. We should, so these are the like my two questions on that one. So we, for the second part, I think we have to be clear upon what is needed, where it is needed, and how it is needed actually. Yeah, so yeah, that is that. So these
So
are my two
here
questions. What is
messaging is
I
needed, Varun. I tell
uh,
the reason. See, most of the time what happening is when Anju or someone is connecting with the customer, they are going through only the first they are going through the list screen only. Okay, from list
mm,
by seeing the column itself, they are adding their comments.
mm,
So that's why this one is needed here. Means once they go through the columns, if anything is fishy, they want to make a note of those, or they want to add a message for the same. If they want to tag someone to message for this particular vendor, they can do from here itself. Rather, they're opening 5 6 vendor in a different tab, and after that going to messaging tab and adding the same message. That's a heavy task, right? From here, suppose I see, okay, why this total in last 12 months, what why this spend is here. So what I will do, I will directly click on message and I will tag someone to check into it. I won't go to inside because see in the main screen that is very big. There is too many data.
Right.
okay.
So,
And then the question happens like for me, I can ask that question, right? If I have tagged somebody in 10 vendors across 50 vendors or 100 vendors, how will I know which 10 vendors I have been tagged? I have to always go to my emails or notifications, and from there I have to go.
Yeah, so see, most of the time a CEO or a finance guy, they are not going to see in detail. Okay, they will
Okay.
see the list and the number, and they will tag someone from their team.
Okay.
Okay, they
Okay.
are not going to look all those data.
Yeah, Rakesh, I think like what he's saying is like in your messaging module, right? You need to show all the messages, right, that I've sent. I mean, that is
Yeah,
something
yeah,
that you'll have to tackle.
that I'm showing. This is the empty screen. Suppose no message is yet sent.
No,
Okay,
no, no,
Yeah.
no.
if
I think
messages are sent, then you would
no, no.
able to see the messages from here.
Rakesh, I think what Varun has a valid point, because right now one or two application, if I tag, let's say Ralph or someone, it's fine. He'll remember I had tagged him on Adobe or I tagged him on Apple. And let's say Pratibha does this. She goes and puts two messages on
Uh,
Adobe and Apple. He'll
yeah,
remember.
so yeah, I
But after
got
two
that
weeks,
one. Yeah,
he'll
you
send.
forgot. After two
I'm
weeks,
sorry.
people forgot to whom they already tagged and where it went. Right. That.
Yeah, because Pratibha will be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I had
So
already sent you a message," and Ralph is like, "I don't have a single view to see all my messages."
yeah. So I'm working on that, Prasanna. I'm covering
Okay.
that scenario in notification and email.
Okay.
So I'm making one more module where user would able to see all the messages what he has sent to someone and who always replied.
Yeah. Maybe that module should not be on the left-hand side.
No, no,
Instead, it
that
should
is
be on the top.
covering. No, no, yeah, that won't be in the left hand side. User is going
It's
to access that from here only, from
Yes.
notification
Yes.
only.
It should show like a
right,
email thing there. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
right. And those messages will be on a category basis that they will know for which application it was sent out, correct? For which
Yeah,
vendor.
They can
I
filter.
am actually it is in RT kind of thing, in requirement phase only. I'm started working on that. By
Because if
Friday
they
or
get
by
50
Saturday, I will
messages,
show that one.
okay, because if they get 50 messages and for five messages for one same person, but they don't know for which application that is, right? Sometimes. So if the application name gets there, then that will be helpful.
Yeah, so it will be most likely your inbox where you will have a header. Is in our scenario, it would be vendor name or the tagline means see here I can take at least this sentence as my tagline few words how emails are work in that scenario there are subject right but in our case there won't be subject but simply it will take few part. You can think like a WhatsApp where you would able to see last send message few part you would able to see in the list itself. So
Okay.
I'm working on that. Once it is done, I will show you what I'm thinking. Okay, so here, uh, yeah, definitely we are changing the name. It won't be messaging only. It will be quick messages. Is that fine, or anything else we are thinking?
Will that main quick message and this comment section quick message be confusing, Rakesh?
Oh, right, because these are my messages which I saved actually.
Yeah.
Quick reply actually. These
So, Rakesh, like, has everybody put comments on this design for you?
no, we are going through. People are posting now only.
Okay. Yeah, I would ask folks to do it offline as well
No, this
if they
one
are
I
new.
didn't share. After today's call, I because I want to give them a basic idea what we are doing. Sometimes what
Okay.
happen without knowing they won't be able to add comments also.
Okay.
And from a UI perspective, uh, the nested table, is that possible with the Andy
Yes,
which we have?
yeah, yeah. All those are. We are creating our own table component for that. Okay, so one thing which I added for this one is for this table is reply part actually. See what happened is in sometimes whatever I tagged you on a particular message and if I won't able to reply there itself, it is going to lost if there are too many messages.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like threads, right?
Yes, it will be like so. On a reply, for suppose this is my reply now. On this, you won't be able to reply. You are always going to reply for this only. Means it will create chain like this. For
Mm-hmm.
this is your main message. So these reply four, right? There are four
Mm-hmm.
replies. So those are related to this only. For a already some suppose this is one reply, you won't be able to reply again. There won't
Yeah,
be
that makes sense.
nested replies. So this is the end. Okay, and at a time, people able to see the latest one, latest reply. If they click on load previous messages, they would able to see the rest. So in this scenario, there are three more replies. So if I click on load previous
Yeah.
messages,
So this
it will
is
load.
clear, Rakesh. I think this makes sense. Should be done from backend perspective also, I think. Had a question. Go to the previous one, the quick message and attach document piece. Here, we should show the user they can use this app name sort, as in the, what is it called, custom variable. What are we calling it, variables?
Yeah, they
How are
can
we
use.
showing?
They can use.
Yeah,
That's why I
are we
put
showing the
something
list
like.
of variables with a drop down, or will we just show that in an example before?
It is in our messaging already in workflow. So what happen is if someone uses curly brackets, now after that
No,
it
no.
will show the
So the
variables.
thing is, how are you telling them they should use curly bracket?
See, as per my understanding, already they are used to it, that curly brackets from the workflow module. Okay.
No,
I don't think so. We should make it.
because see, right now we have two, three people who will be tagged. Let's say Sophie tags three, four people who she wants to use the system. Once they come here, this will be the first time. So it will be an introduction to them. Either we can do this in a gray fashion here, where we show use curly brackets to auto populate, or next to this add document, say insert variable or insert values or something, and show it there.
Okay, I will use this part. I will add two more tags. One to how to use. They would able to add user or user group, and at similar way how they would able to add variables.
Yeah, insert values and tag someone. Yeah.
Okay, so this is really messaging and attachment. So here they would in the second tab they would able to see the attachments, and if user clicks on this download, it should download the zip of all the four. Okay, vendor detail page. Okay, so this is the main vendor page. So these are all the tabs for a vendor: spend detail, associated apps, messaging, workflows, and vendor information. And here at the top level, I'm showing few information which are related to this particular vendor, and it will be stay here only. Uh, Total spend in last 12 months, total spend YTD. If there is any potential saving associated to this particular vendor, here itself they would able to see, and if they click on this on a slider, they would able to see why how this 2000 is calculated, means whether due to uh, duplicate app or low usage, how we are calculating that thing need to be shown on the slider. So this potential saving slider I'm not created. I need to check how we are working on the potential saving slider for the dashboard. Similarly, we will use the same slider for it. At the top level, they would able to see the source.
Rakesh, does it make sense to show like the savings realized on a vendor until now on this one?
which has like something that I'm thinking here. Like maybe we can link like, in the past we have saved this much dollars on this vendor.
Okay, already saved you are saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can.
I mean, this is actually pretty good. Like I like how you're showing the potential savings, and that will actually show in the into like the recommendations thing that we were. Um, this was not in yesterday's version, right?
No, morning I said right. I will add potassium saving thing. I was thinking, so that's
Okay.
why I did.
No, this is good.
So make it savings serialized.
So if we're doing that, then we should change it on the dashboard as well.
Yeah. Everywhere we should have savings realized because that's what we are actually doing. And we can get away from the spreadsheet.
So one question I had, Rakesh, on this entire screen, why do you have that start workflow at the very top?
Okay, because what I thought is, suppose I am looking into the transactions. Okay, from here itself, I should able to start a workflow after realizing if something is wrong or something I want to investigate. Why I should go to workflow tab and then start the work? Why shouldn't I take the action from here
Actually,
itself?
that is like more related to messaging, right? I mean, when you come on a page like this, you don't think of starting a workflow right away. You think about like messaging somebody, like a universal messaging bar, like a message bar or something.
Okay. One more
That
thing, what
that is
I
like
was
how. Hmm.
yeah, one more thing what I was thinking is to provide a search bar actually here, because see we have too many fields: minimum
Yeah.
spend, vendor
I think
status.
that is
Okay.
actually a better position than like start workflow. Like, and in there, like you have to have like a messaging icon or something, right? That messaging should be like an icon that shows everywhere. Like I want to message somebody, or from there I can start a workflow. I think those are things that need to be up there. Because the start workflow is not your primary action here.
Okay. Okay, I will update. Actually, I 1 second recommendation. Yeah, so currently I don't think we are having the recommendation part. So in future, if we are, as we are planning to include recommendation also. So in that scenario, suppose for a vendor or a application, we have some recommendation. In that scenario, we will show this icon. So on click, it will open up the recommendations which are associated to this vendor or the application. So for now, I don't think. So as I wrote, it is for next phase. We need to do more research how we are going to include the recommendation. But this is the future expert. We can directly use a bulb, and on click, it will show the recommendations for this window. Yeah, now coming to here. So previously, in our current screen, this total spend 12 month and YTD, those are also part of transaction and contract, but I removed from here and moved here because I want all the fields which are editable to be at one place. So if user click on edit, I edit, all these fields are now editable. They can directly edit this field and they can save it. Below is three tabs which are
So once
associated to the
again,
yeah,
Rakesh,
yeah, Prasanna.
that edit, I think we should keep it consistent. Maybe put a pencil icon on the very right corner so that it stands
No,
out
no,
and it's consistent.
it is considered currently. We have
No,
this
no,
only.
I know what it is currently, but I think we should be consistent.
Okay,
A pencil icon is an edit symbol everywhere, and if you want to name it edit with pencil icon, let's do that. But let's add the pencil icon, and I think you should reconsider putting it there where everything is already overloaded, or move to the very right.
Yeah, here I will.
Yes,
I,
move it to the very right. Then it's like, oh, okay, I can edit this because now it's difficult to see because there is a lot of text and everything already there. So that
Hey,
is
are
one
we
thing.
having like too many fields there? Like there is like an active contract status, then vendor is active, custom tab. Like, I mean, we can have like a few fields which they want to fill, and then we can put it like an optional in the side or somewhere.
I'm still not getting which one.
No, what she is telling is, do we need all of these as default view for the customer, or some of them can be optional, which only
Because
shows up if they select the field.
yeah, currently like most of them are empty for most of the customers. So for some, yeah, just renewal date is enough. For some, maybe auto renew option. So I mean, yeah, it depends on the customer. So if they can select like a few, like two or three, and rest of them remain optional, or like in the by the side whether they can drag and drop it or anything.
Okay, customized view. If with that I need to think actually on how we can achieve.
What are the most common parameters most of the customers you have seen it, Anju? Renewal
One
date.
is renewal date, one then auto renew, then what is the number of licenses that comes in the application. Then that's the contract period. Yeah, those are
No, no,
the
it's
three
not
fields.
customized view, Rakesh. Like, usually they would want like to move the fields, right? And save that as a view.
Means yes, yeah, customized only, right? Means
Yeah.
few things we need to make is mandatory, like renewal date. Ancho can tell which all fields are
Mm.
commonly used. Those we can make it as mandatory. Rest
Yeah.
we can clean from here, move it out like we done for table. Same we can do.
Okay, yeah, that I will. Yeah.
Okay, uh, moving forward.
So one more
So
thing, this
yeah,
on the top right, the spend detail associated app messaging workflow, uh, it's not visible. It's not
no,
standing out that these are tabs because it is plugged into the top view.
yeah, because this entire part is sticky. To make it sticky.
So it gets merged in that and everything
Or
looks the
at
same.
least it will stick somewhere here
Yeah, if
in
it
the
sticks
scroll.
somewhere there, let's make it a separate one so that people know they can click it.
Okay,
Right now, it looks like part of the top and it is just some other information which is there. It doesn't look like tabs.
So, Rakesh, you have to make the whole thing sticky, including the tab titles.
No, 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 no. Why would we make whole thing sticky? Because all that information is not always required, right?
No, no, that thing is always required, right? I mean, where you are, which vendor you are on, what are you spending on. So that whole like the upper tab, which is the first color, should be always visible.
No, then it reduces our area to show other things because we only need to see which vendor they are on, not the whole thing about what's the spend and everything.
This is like still like sufficient. You see the transaction and contract details and all of this, right? So unless like Rakesh, this is not going to be visible.
Yeah, when it's a very big real estate, maybe. Those three blocks in the top, it's very big real estate because people have 13-inch laptops.
No, so like each one of those is actually clickable and it opens into something. So that's like your clickable area.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
See,
top.
the only thing which should be sticky here is the Amazon on the top, and then the spend detail associated app messaging. The other thing should not be sticky.
so you're saying when I start scrolling, So it
Yeah.
should stick this one. Might be it
Yeah.
reduce the font. Okay.
Yeah. We
Like
can
what
reduce the
we
font, but it
on
should show the
website
vendor
how
name.
okay means how it happens
Can
in
we?
websites actually.
Can you open our current one?
Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah, so hey guys, this meeting is also supposed to be like, I also want to check up on like what are the things that we discussed today morning, India time, right? So one of the things that I think Rakesh you should do is like ask folks for like a offline comments as well,
Mhm.
okay? And then we can come together and look at this. Like there should be a meeting like this, but everybody should have seen all the screens beforehand and left comments.
Okay. Okay, but I think
Does that make sense?
everyone,
Because
yeah.
there are
So
like 10 people on this call, and I only see like people like only 3 or 4 people like talking.
okay, so I can schedule a meeting for Thursday. I think one day would be enough for everyone to go through and add the comments.
Yeah. So I also wanted to check on like where are we in terms of like the workflow bugs that we opened. And then I left you a comment, Rakesh, yesterday.
I saw that. So that is related to when the workflow is started.
Yeah. So that whole screen is also changed now. So Hardik dropped and I think Varun also dropped, right?
You have some production issue.
Okay.